Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me well.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So we've reached a very good number already online, so I suggest we start. Well, welcome to this event, paving the way to participation in Horizon Europe Cluster 3 2024 work program. I am Nicolas Bessot, the Head of Unit for Innovation and Security Research in DG Home, European Commission. And I am opening this event with you with a very brief, though hopefully very warm welcome from my side and on behalf of the European Commission team that works with me. We are organizing this important online event together with our EU-funded project SEREN 5 that I would like to thank upfront for the very good cooperation with the European Commission and the Research Executive Agency. Usually in the year, we organize a Cluster 3 Info Day in June. And this year it will be held again in June on 12 and 13 June 2024 in Brussels, well, in hybrid format. So please mark these days in your calendars and we will look forward to seeing you there at the June events. However, this year we wanted to have an earlier event in the year to raise awareness about the 2024 work program. We felt that we couldn't wait for the month of June to raise awareness and that we had to start earlier, hence the event today as an appetizer to the next Info Day in June. The purpose of this meeting is really what is exactly in the title. It's paving the way to participation, to your participation to our calls, and in a way to ignite a little bit your interest to apply to our topics for funding. I do hope that all potential applicants to the Cluster 3 calls opening this year in June 17, will grab this opportunity to get feedback, to hear about best practices and other tips. Also understand that this provides you a networking opportunity to build later, to build consortia and successful applications. In addition to this meeting, and the next Info Day, you can also rely on the key and really essential interlocutors that are our national contact points. In all this process, they are really the ambassadors of Horizon Europe, and they remain the main reference points for the prospective applicants, particularly, I would say, for new applicants. So their work, the work of the national contact points is really fundamental in this respect. And I would really urge interested applicants to get in touch with the respective national contact points for any more information that you may need. I hope that you will make the best of today's event to familiarize yourself with our program and get ready for your future participation. I will now give the floor to the next speaker, my Deputy Head of Unit, Martin Übeler, and I would like to thank you for your attention and wishing you a constructive and useful event. Thank you.
Good morning also from my side. I'm just putting on my slides. Can you see my slides well?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. So my name is Martin Übler. I work with Nicolas here in DG Home on managing our civil security research and innovation. Our core business and what I will speak about today is our Horizon Europe Cluster 3 and our calls for proposals for this year, which are of course guided by the challenges related to civil security, and we want to address these policy challenges from a research perspective. So it's the policy challenges which guide the way we have conceived those funding priorities, and and the topics, and also the way we want these projects to be implemented. That said, Horizon Europe, of course, is not the only, let's say, instrument in our toolbox. And there on the screen, you see a few other points on which I will touch upon in my presentation. But so just to give you a first teaser. When I say our work program and our calls are guided by our EU policy priorities in internal security, this is reflected in what we call the destinations. And these destinations, they structure the calls for proposals. And those are fighting crime and terrorism, border management, resilient infrastructures, disaster resilience or disaster resilient societies, cybersecurity, and then we have a cross-cutting destination that we call SSRI. I will speak briefly about the different topics and topics that we have in our call along those different destinations. But first, a bit more general, how do we implement this research program and why do we think this is interesting for you? So what is in it for you? Why should you bother applying for European funding for your research and innovation? The obvious benefit is, of course, if you are part of a successful proposal, you will get funding, you will get, basically subsidized for your research and innovation activities, which will then later continue to benefit your organization. That's the obvious benefit. But then beyond that, our Horizon Europe program is also a great opportunity to network and to grow for you as a kind of individuals, as organizations, to grow beyond, let's say, your status quo. And what I mean with that is you gain access to the knowledge, to technology from other people in the consortium, but also more broadly in the community. And we have community building activities that I will also speak about. And you gain access to markets, or you gain access to the users and the practitioners who will later on use the technologies that you work on. So part of our in most topics, part of the consortia are research, security practitioners, so public authorities, first responders, etc. And this gives you a direct kind of link with the from research to the deployment of technologies. And if you are a practitioner, you have the benefit in the reverse sense that you get access to the knowledge and to the technologies that can enhance your work. And we also we do our best to make, where relevant, make funding available for the deployment of research results after the research project is finished. And there we'll talk about other European Union funding programs, and some of those you can see on that screen. Then let me also say that the budget for the 2024 calls is even larger than the budget of last year. And compared with other clusters in Horizon Europe, we actually have a fairly good success rate when it comes to proposals in most topics, in most destinations. And of course, it varies between topics and destinations, and it varies between years. But overall, it's competitive, but there are even more competitive clusters in Horizon Europe. Now, I will go quickly through the destinations and the topics. The first destination is fighting crime and terrorism. This is, of course, very much driven, as I said before, by our policy agenda. So when you are working on, or if you consider submitting a proposal, you should, of course, be aware of all the, what we call the policy acquis, what is currently happening in the European Union in terms of policies in the area of fighting crime and terrorism. And there's the Security Union strategy. You should be aware of the counterterrorism agenda. There are security dimensions of the new pact on immigration and asylum. There is the new strategy on tackling organized crime. There is a new policy on fighting drug smuggling and organized crime. So you basically you should stay up to date on what's happening on the policy side in order to make sure that to maximize the relevance of your research proposal. And then obviously in FCT, it's very important, and in most topics, it's mandatory to have practitioners, and in this case, in most cases, this means police authorities to be involved in the topics. I should have said before, you have to read the topic description in the work program very, very closely to make sure that you're eligible, to make sure that you meet the different requirements, in particular when it comes to the involvement of practitioners. And the benefit, of course, of having these police authorities and other practitioners in the project is they help define the needs for the technology that is developed. They are the ones, in many cases, which will use the tools later on. And they require training, which can also be, training material can also be an important product of the program and from projects. The next destination is border management, which we have structured into 3 different areas. One is efficient border surveillance and maritime security. The second is secured and facilitated crossing of external borders. And the third is better customs and supply chain security. Here also, I'd like to highlight the importance of our EU agencies, notably Frontex, but also EU LISA, which operates large-scale IT systems in this area. And again, of course, it's important that you keep up with the different policy developments. Again, Security Union strategy, the new Pact on Migration and Asylum, anything done by Frontex, the Border and Coast Guard, the Maritime Security Action Plan, the Customs Union Action Plan, etc., etc. Next destination is resilient infrastructures. The objective here is that we support the resilience of large-scale, interconnected, complex infrastructures and of the entities that operate these infrastructures. And this is to prepare for the case of complex attacks, but also pandemics, natural and human-made disasters, and the impact of climate change. So it's important that we strengthen the risk assessment, response, and recovery without substantial human intervention. And among the policies that I would like to point out, we have the, of course, Security Union strategy. There is a joint framework on countering hybrid threats. There is the Union Civil Protection Mechanism, and then there are two twin directives, one on a common level of cybersecurity in infrastructures, the NIS2 directive, NIS2, and the directive on the resilience of critical entities, CER directive. So this is basically critical security of critical infrastructure regulation at European level, these two directives. And we try to support the implementation of those through the infra destination. Next destination is disaster resilient societies. Of course, here we're talking about disaster resilience, prevention, preparedness, response, adaptation to climate change, but also to other hazards, and those can be natural hazards or human-made hazards. A better understanding and better of those hazards, and then improving the capacities of first responders. And also in DRS, there's a certain international dimension, of course, when it comes to disaster resilience. We have the SSRI destination, which is a cross-cutting theme, which we use to support common security solutions, so also to cross-fertilize between the different destinations. It's also a way to foster evidence-based development of EU civil security capabilities. And we aim at the industrialization, commercialization, adoption, and deployment of research results. And here in particular, you can see there's a particular kind of topic on the support of SMEs. As I said before, for us, it's particularly important to support, on the one side, practitioners, on the other side, SMEs, and to integrate all the different actors within research projects. And this is not only for SSRI, but in general, a typical project has research actors, so academia, research technology organizations. It has industry, SMEs, and practitioners, and where relevant, civil society organizations and NGOs. Again, I'm speaking not only about SSRI now. And then the last destination is cybersecurity or digital security. This is very complementary to what we do, for example, on resilient infrastructures and on fighting crime and terrorism. I have to say that cybersecurity is managed by a different part, by our colleagues in a different department of the Commission. So I am not so well placed to speak about it today. So much for the destinations. Now, still a few final tips for proposals. As I said before, it is to some degree, it is a specificity of our cluster that in many cases there is an eligibility criterion to involve the right type of practitioners. So pay particular attention to that. And there is a particular table to be filled in when submitting your proposal. Then, as said already by Nicolas, in particular, if you're a newcomer, but not only, you have the national contact points as a resource. The national contact points are the ambassadors for Horizon Europe in the different countries, member states and associated countries. And they can help you. They can help you find the right partners within your country, but also abroad. They can help you with a proposal. Of course, not, they cannot write it for you, but they can kind of advise you on how to approach the proposal process. And they are a great resource. And we will hear later on throughout the day, throughout the morning, we will hear from several NCPs, and we will hear from SERAN 5, which is our network of NCPs for cluster 3. So eligibility criteria. As I said before, read very carefully to make sure that you really respond to the call in the different topics, and then obviously tick all the boxes and fill in all the templates. Address thoroughly the selection and award criteria, because this is what our independent evaluators who help us decide and find the best projects from among those submitted. The evaluators use those criteria, and it's transparent. You know what the selection and award criteria are, so try to, of course, respond to those. And then there is a page limit. Of course, be clear and build your consortium based on your project's need, and don't build it, kind of in any other more artificial way. Yeah, and then what most people do is they fill in, they draft the proposal in the online application, and then they finalize it kind of over time. What you should not do is try to submit everything a day or two before the expiration of the deadline. If you have questions, every year we receive questions like, what did you mean? How is this to be interpreted, etc. Please submit this kind of, please speak to your NCPs, national contact points. And then please submit your questions through the so-called research inquiry service. This is a structured way to make sure that the questions end up on the desk of me and my colleagues, and to make sure that you get a response. And the response, which is not subjective, but then a response which can also be published and made available to others in kind of the form of a Q&A. And then last but not least, regardless whether or not you're making a proposal, and regardless whether or not it will be successful, you can always get engaged with us in our community for research and innovation for security. This is our community building platform, where we bring together all the relevant stakeholders at European level for security research. And typically, so SERIS concretely is two things. It's a commission expert group. This we manage, we select, you can kind of raise your hand, but we basically select the experts. And secondly, SERIS is an email distribution list. And then we organize workshops. We organize 1 or 2 or 3 workshops every month on specific topics. Last workshop we had was on maritime situational awareness, or on the involvement of NGOs and civil society organizations in research projects, or on whatever, bioterrorism. So within the different subtopics and the different aspects. We then bring the best experts that we know, we bring them together for a workshop. The information about this workshop is sent to the email list, and you can sign up for the workshop. The workshops are typically only physically here in Brussels, sometimes in other cities in Europe. So, and this is a great opportunity for you to network, to be engaged, to know what's happening in Brussels, to meet other researchers, to meet industry, to meet policymakers. And as I said before, this is independent of whether or not you are a recipient of Horizon Europe funding. So with that, I thank you very much for your interest. I would really like to encourage you to participate in our program. I think it's a great opportunity. And I hope that this morning, with the different presentations, with the work of SEREN 5 and the national contact points, you will find all the right resources that you need in order to be part of a proposal. Thank you very much and have a good day. I give the floor back to Flavia Lacolla from SEREN 5. And I see you later on at the end of the workshop.
Thank you, Martin. Hello, everybody. I'm Flavia Lacolla, the coordinator of SEREN 5. I would like to thank you very much, DG Home, for the fruitful collaboration, the organization of this event. And also, I would like to thank DG Home for the key contribution that they have provided so far. Now we can start the second part of the event. This second part is dedicated to give you some tips, some information about the first steps you can take if you want to approach a cluster 3. But first of all, I would like to give you some information, some organizational information. So first of all, as you have noted, the event is recorded, so you will be able to see afterwards the recording of the event, and all participants will always and will receive the presentations you can today. So don't worry, you will receive all the PPTs after the event will end. Now I would like to share with you the Slido code, because you will be able to Slido to ask questions within the second part of the event and the third part of the event. So please take note of the code. I will write down the numbers, the code also in the chat. So if you have questions regarding the second part of the event, and also in the last part, so in the panels section of the event, you can use Slido to put your questions. Now I would like to ask my SEREN 5 colleague Zeil to start a presentation on how to approach a topic in cluster 3 and how to create a good consortium in funded projects. Zeil?
Yes, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Flavia. I'm just going to see if I can get a full. I'm going to stop sharing again.
The presentation. Okay, now the presentation is on, so please, Dale.
Okay. This is a very interactive sort of presentation, so I don't know how this is going to work, but let's go ahead and do it. Okay, so good morning, everybody. My name's Dale Johnson. I am the UK NCP for Cluster 3 and also part of the 7-5 project, of which my activities are training participants. And this particular presentation is geared towards those new people that are looking to participate in Horizon Europe. So for those that already know and on this webinar, you know, this may be something you already know, but hopefully it'll be a refresher anyway. Could I have the next slide, please? Okay, so in this slide, it's showing you what we're going to cover. So this is the Horizon Europe. This is the way we go in. So we're going to look at the rules for participation. So it's about being prepared. It's how to navigate the work programme. And then within the work programme itself, we're going to look at the destinations, the actions, the TRLs, that's technology readiness levels, the eligibility criteria, and the social science and humanities aspect of the civil security calls. We're also going to look at some of the considerations for choosing the right topic for you and your organisation, some aspects of proposal writing, some of the vital areas, and some ideas for consortium building. So this is pretty quick, you know, bite-sized piece of presentation. Could I have the next slide, please? Okay, so before you start, it's always a good idea to know the rules for participation. This is your foundation of which you build your knowledge. And it's always good to have a look at the funding and tenders portal. It looks very new at the moment. So for those that haven't been on it before, you won't notice a difference, but it is a brand new navigation pane and everything else. So there's some new aspects to that. And I think it's easier to navigate as well. Once you get onto that funding and tenders portal, get yourself an EU login account and a PIC, which is a personal identification code, which will be assigned to you, a number which will be assigned to you for as long as you want to participate. You don't have to participate, but it's good to get that PIC. Understand the rules of participation and take a look at the relevant annexes. We're going to go through the annexes a bit later on in this presentation. And familiarise yourself with all the guidances, manuals and work programmes. Also, as Martin mentioned, know the support that's available to you, including the Research Inquiry Service, and also reach out to your national contact point in your country. They are there to support you. And you will get the slides, and they've all got all of the links there. Could I have the next slide, please? So when you go onto the Commission's website, there is an actual step. There's a special screen for steps for participation. And if you go onto the guidance tab and then go to the drop-down menu and go to how to participate, there's lots of information on there as well. And it gives you the key steps for participation. So that's another thing that helps you to navigate your way through the whole process. Next slide, please. Okay, so yeah, this is interactive, and obviously it's not going to work. So what I want to do is draw your attention to the contents of the work programme. So when you look at the work programme, it's a pretty big document, and it can be a little bit daunting to sort of pick that document up or look through that document. But it's good to familiarise yourself with the layout of that work programme. So on the contents page, you will have an introduction, which is which then within the context of the actual main work programme will talk about the policy challenges and the EU priorities, things that Martin has already mentioned to you. So, you know, read the introduction. There's also the destinations. They're the 6 destinations that Martin's already mentioned. Again, familiarise yourself with the thinking behind those destinations and why they've been put there, because that's really important when you're putting together your proposal, because you need to understand what the Commission is asking in order for you to write your impact, how your proposal is going to impact. Then you have your call, which has a specific title and a specific reference. Underneath the call, you have your conditions for the call. And as you can see within this screenshot on the left-hand side, the conditions of the call will actually describe the topics, will give you the title of the topics, it will give you the type of action that the call is assigned to, or the topic is assigned to, it will give you the budget that's available, and it also give you the budget available for each of the projects, and it will also give you an indication of how many projects will be funded under that call topic. Again, don't just skim over that, read that, because that's really important to understand, you know, what you're trying to achieve and how much of the funding is available. And then underneath that, you've got the general conditions relating to the call, which gives you information about admissibility, eligibility, and it gives you the annexes that are that you need to be reading in conjunction with your core topic. Again, I'm going to look at the annexes a bit later on. And then you get your topic. Could you move on to the next slide, please, Flavia? So the topic, this is probably the most important thing that you want to be looking at. Now, the topic has a reference number and it has a title. There is specific conditions for that actual topic itself, but you really need to be reading the expected outcomes and also the scope. The expected outcomes are those things that are expected for your project to achieve by the end of the duration of your project. However, some of these expected outcomes may be that beyond the time of the project, the impact that will have beyond your project when it finishes. So again, that's something that you really need to be taken into consideration. And the scope itself gives you some really important data on the thinking behind the actual core topic itself. It gives you some ideas of what the EU Commission requires. You have to remember that the Commission is your customer and the project must fulfill the customer's needs. So the scope is the Commission's list of requirements in a way. But again, we're going to look a little bit more deeper into the scope a bit later on in this presentation. Next slide, please. So the destinations. There are 6 destinations within cluster 3. Every cluster has its own destinations. So we're just going to be looking at cluster 3. So the destinations already mentioned by Martin is better protect the EU and its citizens against crime and terrorism. And the calls under that destination have the reference FCT. And that's fighting crime and terrorism. The second destination is effective management of EU external borders, and the calls have a reference with BM in its title. The third destination is resilient infrastructure, and as you can see on the right-hand side, that has a reference within its call infra. And number 4 is increased cybersecurity, with the calls having CS within its topic reference. 5th is a disaster resilient society for Europe, and that has DRS within its call reference. And strengthen security research and innovation destination has the SSRI reference. And as an example, as you can see a little bit further down, so an example of a call reference is Horizon, which is the actual program. CL3 is the cluster 3. The year is 2024. Please be careful not to look at the 2023 calls. I've had organisations come to me and say, yes, I really want to participate, and they've actually looked at the wrong year, and those have closed now. And then the FCT is the Fighting Crime and Terrorism, and the 0101 is the number of the reference. So really, when you choose a topic, when you eventually choose a topic, that is the reference that's really important to note when you're talking to others about what you're doing and communicating the type of project or the project you're going to embark on. Could I have the next slide, please? So eligibility conditions, really important. Martin's already alluded to this. So for cluster 3, in cluster 2 and cluster 6 also have eligibility conditions, but I'm highlighting cluster 3. So any type of organisation can apply for Horizon Europe. For most calls for proposals, the consortium should be made up of at least 3 partner organisations from 3 different EU or associate countries. At least one of the 3 partners must be from an EU country, and some calls require multi-actor approach, including end users. Especially in fighting crime and terrorism and border management, in which end user as beneficiaries, as active beneficiaries within your consortium is absolutely vital. The reason it's vital is because you need to be sort of collaborating and consulting with end users at every point, every milestone of your project, because things may change operationally and they need to be informing the project if something changes, because that might actually direct the technology to be changed as well that you're trying to develop, or the process that you're developing, or the training you're developing. So it's really important to have those end users within your consortium, because at the end of the day, that will direct your whatever you're providing through that project. It will make it fit for purpose, and it's more likely to be taken up by those end users once it's properly developed. So if you don't fill those eligibility conditions as mentioned here, please be aware of that. Your project will fail at evaluation. Could I have the next slide, please? Thank you. So let's look at the types of actions and the TRLs. So each of the core topics has a type of action associated with it, which also indicates the technology readiness level to be achieved by the end of your project. So we have something called a research and innovation action, there's an innovation action, and a coordination and support action. And those are indicated, that gives an indication to the TRL to be achieved by the end of the project. So a research and innovation action is something, so if you're building a technology, what the Commission expects you to be doing, and the activities within that project is to taking it to proof of concept and applying that within a lab-based environment. If it's an innovation action, that is a higher TRL than the research and innovation action. If you've noticed, it's exactly the same, but they've taken the research part out of it. And so really it's the innovation action. And this is a requirement. The activities within that proposal or that project will require you to take that technology or that process to a validation stage, which means it must be demonstrated within a operational real life environment. You know, you have your scenarios in innovation action, but research and innovation action, but in the innovation action, you have to actually have those end users looking and using that piece of technology. Again, this is to sort of underline why end users are vital to have in your project. And a coordination support action doesn't have often a TRL next to it, because it's mainly about supporting. It's about creating networks, studies and training. It's the activities that are complementary to everything else. So if you're building a piece of technology, then how do people know how to use it? So it's the training that goes into that. So again, you can use these slides as an aid memoir. I'm not going to go through each of the TRLs, but it's there for you to read. Could I have the next slide, please? So the annexes, again, this is something often that participants just skim over because they're so keen on wanting to start their proposal and write their proposal that, you know, this means that they have to come away from that and read some really good reference documents. So you will notice there are a number of annexes A to H, and each have their own title, and each of them has their own contents. This slide is to actually, it's a one pager, so you can see what each of the annexes have within their documents. Please realise that the annexes underpin your knowledge for participation. I get a lot of questions about things that are already written in those annexes. Yes, it may take a little bit of while to read them, but it is very, very much worthwhile spending that time and understanding the rules for participation. So again, please have a look at the annexes. Don't just skim over them, take some time to read them. And actually it benefits you. Then there's no surprises when you're starting on your journey. Could I have the next slide, please? So in some of the core topics within Cluster 3, there is an inclusion for social sciences and humanities expert. You must understand why this is important. So you will see within the scope, the text within the scope, you will see this sentence. This topic requires the effective contribution of SSH, social science and humanities discipline, and the involvement of those experts, institutions, as well as the inclusion of relevant experts in order to produce meaningful and significant effects, enhancing the societal impact of the related innovation activities. Now, what does that actually mean? So it actually means that if you have a social science expert, they will be able to facilitate the project in understanding the impact of a new technology on citizens, because these projects are very much geared to making society better and improving the society. And therefore, if we don't understand how society works through these social science experts, then we won't understand what the impact will be. So it's about the human factors and the context of the research, so that all within the project understand what that means. It's about adhering to people's fundamental rights. It's about protecting their data. It's how we can better communicate with citizens and their communities to optimize the research within the project. It's also a way of maintaining trust with the public when it comes to introducing a new technology or process or training. And it also provides a more robust and sort of robustness to the data that you're providing to the Commission. So again, active engagement with citizens in research equals acceptance of social change and empowerment. So that's why it's important. I am suggesting to you, even though it doesn't say that within the topic, the core topic itself, I'm suggesting have a social scientist within your project. It's not a necessity, but it's I think it's a good idea because you get more out of it. Could I have the next slide, please? Okay, so how do you choose the right topic? It's a decision-making thing. So you have to know what your strengths are, your areas of knowledge, your areas of expertise, and the strengths of your organisation and those within your organisation. So you need to understand, first of all, what is it that you can do? What are you good at? Then you look at the contents pages first that we've been through. Look at the contents pages, look at the title. What stands out and strikes a chord with you that is parallel to what your strengths are? Then once you've had a look at that title, go and read the expected outcomes and the scope. Do these fall within your field of work and your expertise? Can you contribute effectively? And then what role can you fulfill in a consortium? You know, are you ready to lead, or do you just want to be a beneficiary, or do you want to lead a consortium? Make that, it's a decision-making process. And then what support mechanisms do you have? So these projects can be 3, 4, 5 years long. These are long projects, so you need to understand that you need that support all the way through. And then speak with others who may work with you on the project, your colleagues, networks, that could be international and domestic. Also, if you have the chance, speak to somebody who's already been in a project, ask them, take everything into consideration, or even speak to your national contact point, because we're not only there to encourage you to participate, we're also there to, I wouldn't say discourage if we feel that it may be just too much for you, especially to lead. But what we will do is tell you, you know, the absolute truth about how to participate, and we will advise. So, you know, there are a lot of support mechanisms out there. Could I have the next slide, please, Fabia? So, you could even make yourself a checklist. Is the core topic the right one for you and your organisation? Are you trying to fit a square peg into a round hole? The Commission has set out its needs and they're in concrete. Do not try and fit your, do not try and change the call so that your technology, your idea fits the call. You have to be flexible so that the call fits you. Have you discussed the work with those within your organisation? Don't try and go it alone. Have you got the support you need? The teamwork is essential. Are there benefits for your organisation to participate? It's not just about the funding. It's about the benefits of networking internationally. It's about working with great researchers, sharing ideas. Martin's already mentioned this. You know, it's about building your organisation. You know, I know an organisation that's gone from 4 researchers to 40 researchers. So are you ready for that success? And is the work within your area of expertise? Don't say something that you can do if you can't do it. And are you able to do it for the duration? We've mentioned that these are really long, 3, 4, 5 year projects, possibly. So does it tick all the boxes? Next slide, please. So once you've decided on your proposal, your project that you're going to do, then you have to prepare for writing your proposal. You have to really get intimate with the topic, analyze the topic using all the information available. And, you know, this is the most important part of the whole funding process. It's the intermediary stage between your idea and making it reality. So read the destination, that's your first level of impact. It offers important background information. Read the expected outcomes. These are not your objectives, but they will guide your objectives. And read the scope, read in between the lines, because every word has a reference. Do your research, make sure that Are there any synergies with other clusters? Know your TRLs, know the policy strategies, build on previous EU projects, visit the CORDIS, and what capability gap will your project fulfill? Is it a technology, a process, a methodology, or training gap? It has to fill a gap. There has to be nothing there, so it's beyond state of the art. The proposal should transform your idea into beyond state of the art, as previously mentioned, and it should contribute to the EU becoming a global research innovation powerhouse and contribute to boosting industry. So it also should have a number of, fulfill a number of impacts: scientific impact, societal impact, and economic impact. So also understand the EU Commission's impact pathway requirement. I'm not going to go into the impact pathway on this because it's quite a big topic, but please reach out to your NCPs and they will be able to guide you on that. So preparation for your proposal is really important. Could I have the next slide, please? So build your proposal. Right, how do you do that, and what do you do? So one person cannot write the proposal. This is a team effort. Don't try and go it alone. It should be a shared activity. You should have regular meetings about when you're building your proposal and what you're writing in there. Try and have an overall owner of the project proposal so that, you know, people who write parts of the proposal, they put it into, give it to one person who can knit all of those ideas together. You should have good command of the English language, and it should be a simple structure. It should have a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's easier to say than do, I understand that, but try and make a sense of it. Don't keep jumping from one thing to another, make it flow. And you should be taking the evaluator, who's the important person here who's going to evaluate your project. You must take them on a journey. It should be clear, logical, and easily understood. And to do this, follow the proposal template structure. It's there. It's a brilliant document. It's annotated. It guides you of the content to what you need to put in each of those different chapters. Could I have the next slide, please? So if this is just an idea, so a way of understanding your topic call is to deconstruct the topic text. It helps you understand what is required. It helps to plan your proposal and your future project. It ensures you have all the bases covered, your milestones covered, and it helps to manage your work. So could you go to the next slide, please? And the way to do this is you basically extract the core topic from the work program, put it in another document, separate it, and it gives you a more focus. Go through each of those things. I've highlighted some of these things. You know, highlight the title, highlight how much the funding is, highlight who you need to have in that consortium as a minimum, I have to say. It highlights the technology readiness level, and then when you look at the expected outcomes, highlight the keywords in there and also the keywords in the scope. There may actually, every sentence may be a keyword. That's not a problem. So go through all the relevant text, the core, the introduction, everything else, break down into bite-sized pieces, and then highlight these words and references and documents and transfer all this information into a managed list. Could I have the next slide, please, Flavia? And this is just an example. Create columns to help you manage your work and to make notes. So on your left hand side, you have the different areas of the call, and then you can make your columns. You could say, these are my key words, and these are how I'm going to fulfill this action. Also, in the blue column, there are a number of reference documents that you may have to read, and you can tick these off. It actually helps you to feels like you're doing something. So when you can tick something off and you've read it, you've gone, oh, do you know what, I've achieved that. So you can, through this, you can decide how you're going to plan out your proposal. So again, there's another presentation that I can do on this that gives you more information. And hopefully we can do that at a later date. So finalise your proposal. Give yourself at least 2 to 3 weeks of reflection time before the deadline of the proposal submission. Make sure all the consortium partners are familiar with the document, and set up a meeting to discuss the proposal and make sure everyone's happy with it. Get it proofread. An NCP can do this. The 7.5 offers a service and talk you through the project idea. Plan in advance. So if you do want an NCP to read that and peer review, then make sure that they're notified in time, because if there is some feedback, then you need to be able to do that feedback. Also, what's really important, you can upload your proposal at any given point. It doesn't even have to be finished, but at least if something goes wrong with the IT, there's something there. So yeah, so next slide, please. And submit your proposal. I'm not going to go through this because there is a, with the Omnibus Funding and Tenders portal, it actually talks you through this. There's a part A and a part B of the proposal. Part A, you do online, and part B, you upload it as a PDF. Next slide, please. And the next slide, we're going into the next presentation. I don't know how much time I've got, 10 minutes, I think.
If you want to try to share your own, alternatively, I can do it.
Oh, if you could do it, please, Flavia.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I don't think it's going to work for reasons, technology.
It can happen. Zale, please, the recommendation is to be very brief because we are running a little bit late.
I will do. The thing is, yeah, so if you could just move the slides on. So a consortium is the essential part of a project development process, and it's a condition of Horizon Europe for collaborative projects. It's a team. You are there to build a team. It's to find fit-for-purpose solutions to real-life global challenges. You have to have an amalgamation of capabilities within your project, you know, different skills, different expertise, different knowledge and experience. And you have to ensure that everyone's there and wants to deliver the project. Your primary focus is the project activities. Your secondary focus is the project partners. So if you are the lead in a consortium, you put that project proposal, you have an idea of what activities are going to occur in your project, and then you get the partners to fulfill those activities. Next one, please. So if you're a leader, you represent the consortium, you steer and guide partners through the project. You add value to your project, you make strategic decisions, you make sure that the work is carried out on time and make sure milestones and deliverables are adhered to, and also fulfill the requirements of the Commission when they have review meetings of your project. You have to motivate your team, and you have to be proactive and be a good listener. And you communicate with the Commission regularly and your project officer. A consortium lead should also contact potential partners and organisations as early as possible, and provide partners with your project outline and summary. So the only way to get partners on board is to know exactly what you want from them. Because if you go to them and go, oh, do you want to be part of my team? The first thing they will say is, what do you want me to do? And if you don't know what you want them to do, then how do they know they want to be part of your consortium? Be confident and friendly, and offer to meet them via a VC. Have some really good meetings and chat with them. It's not just about doing the work. It's those personalities that have to gel as well. Demonstrate your knowledge of the project when you're approaching partners to join your consortium, and tell them the duration of the project. There should be no surprises later on. You are navigating the ship to its destination, and all those people on your ship are going to help you get there. So the next slide, please. So you have to decide who's going to be able to carry out the technical side of the work, which of the end users you're going to have, who's going to carry out research, who's going to look at the ethics, who's going to be the communications, who's going to create your web page and communicate within the science community and publicly. Are you going to have an advisory board? Who's going to do the administration? And who's going to look at the policies? These are only a few of the project activities that you need to fulfill using your partners. And then you have leads, you have work package leads, you have task leaders, and you have technical leads. So build your team around the proposal and try and leave no gaps. You know, it's really important to get those people on board as early as possible. Next slide, please. So I'm not going to go into this because I want to go into the next slide, but again, read that. So how do you search for a consortium partner? Go to the Funding and Tenders portal. I was going to do this in live time, but I've actually written down the navigation on the Funding and Tenders portal for you to look for a consortium partner. Again, if you get a little bit lost in the navigation, please ask your NCP and just explore. So that's a way of looking for a partner. Could I have the next slide? And when you do contact an organisation, because you can, or from the Funding and Tenders portal, if you're looking to join a consortium, these are the questions. These are the things you need to tell them about yourself, your area of expertise, what you're best at, what you can bring to the project, and what leadership roles you can do within the project if you want to do a leadership role. Be positive and friendly, and you offer to set up a VC to discuss. If you're looking for partners to join your consortium, say exactly what you want, ask them if they're in a position to take up a long-term project, provide a summary of the work, tell them about other partners in the consortium, and again, offer to set up a VC to discuss. You know, it is about being positive and proactive. And be sure about what you want, whether you're looking for a consortium to join or whether you want to lead a consortium. Next, please. Whoa, we're speeding through this. Again, you can look at the Horizon dashboard. You can see, look for previous projects. Again, every stage of this is here for you. So I'm sure Flavia will share the presentation. I've set it out, each click, and will help you to look at previous projects, which may be a requirement of your core topic that you're doing, because sometimes there is a need to look at previous topics to see at what level they got to, and actually communicate with them and have a conversation with them, because that will guide your work, because it's about them passing the baton to you, the scientific baton that you then have to then build upon. As we said, it's about beyond state of the art. Next slide, please. And again, this is just talking you through how to look on the Horizon dashboard for previous projects, and also for those that were part of that project. Again, this is a separate training presentation, but I just wanted to highlight and make you aware that this is possible to do. And I think we're coming to the end of it now, Flavia, and the next time and the next one. And yeah, this is just taking you through how to actually look on the dashboard. So please use these presentation slides to talk you through, and I hope that it's been beneficial, and good luck. And we're looking forward to you joining us on, you know, on the journey, and reach out to your NCPs. That's what they're there for, the national contact points. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Zail. I'm sure that potential applicants benefit from this presentation, and as Zail already said, please rely on your national contact point in your country, but also on 75 NCPs in case we have further doubts or questions. We are here to support you. So thank you, Zail. Please remain here in case there will be Slido questions for you. But in the meantime, I'm sharing my presentation. And okay, so again, hello everybody, I'm Flavia Nacolla, I'm the coordinator of 75. 75 is the international network of Cluster 3 national contact points, and with this presentation, I will briefly, because we are running a little bit late, present you the 75 project in general, but especially the services 75 can provide for stakeholders in Cluster 3. But to give you some general information about 75, 75 is a coordination and support action financed by the European Commission under Horizon Europe. It began in September 2022 and will end in August 2025. The project is composed by 16 project partners from 16 different countries. Each country in 75 is represented by a national contact point. We cover many countries. The main objectives of 75 can be summarized in two main groups of objectives. 75, we can say that has two phases. One phase is dedicated to national contact points. So one block of objectives of activities are dedicated to national contact points to improve their skills, their knowledge, their competencies in the Cluster 3 sector, but in general also in an horizontal way on Horizon Europe. The other phase of 75 is dedicated to Cluster 3 stakeholders, to simplifying the access of potential applicants in Horizon Europe calls, and to raising also the average quality of submitted proposals. In this slide, you can see the main 75 services, the main 75 activities that we usually organize. 75 has a long story. We started with Seren, then Seren 1, Seren 2, and we arrived in Seren 5. So all the services are well structured. There is also some new service, but the main activities, such as the organization of the European Information Days, or the organization of the brokerage events, or the organization of training for stakeholders, are very well structured, because we have a strong and consolidated experience in supporting Cluster 3 potential applicants and stakeholders. I will go very briefly to each of these services. I will dedicate the last part of my presentation to the CEREMA Partner Search Tool, the CEREMA database. So the information will come in a few minutes. About the organization of European Information Days and Brokerage event, as already said, Saint-Josse-ten-Noode is the main organizer of this kind of event in collaboration with DG Home and RIA. Each year, in conjunction with the opening of the Cluster 3 calls, we organize these events, so the European Info Day and the Brokerage event. The Brokerage event is especially under the direct responsibility of Saint-Josse-ten-Noode, with the final aim of gathering together potential applicants in the interest in collaborating and in creating networking opportunities. So we give you the opportunity to meet other potential partners in this kind of event, both on site and online. We usually organize during the year different training opportunities, in general in conjunction with the Info Day, but it's only an example. The purpose is to raise the knowledge and the skills of stakeholders, of potential applicants in the Cluster 3 sector, but also in horizontal themes. Furthermore, we are strongly committed in promoting the synergies with many security key players, such as Ceres, EARTO, EOS, EXO, and so on and so forth. So we organize during the year many activities together. One of the most important example is the SMIG event that, as you know, probably this year will be organized in Paris on 22nd and 23rd May. Another important task is the collaboration with Enterprise Europe Network, and in this regard, our major objective is to stress the importance of small and medium enterprises and, in general, companies in the participation in Cluster 3. And finally, we have a set of information materials, communication channels. You can easily reach us via emails, via our newsletters, via our website, and our social medias. One of the new services that Saint-Josse-ten-Noode can provide to applicants is the Saint-Josse-ten-Noode Project Idea Check. This service is aimed to support newcomers, but also experienced participants in the framework programs from the very early stage of the proposal preparation. Basically, you can fill in a form that you can receive from us. In this form, you can summarize the information regarding your project idea. From the very initial stage when an idea comes to your mind, and Saint-Josse-ten-Noode national contact points can support you. How? You can meet online the national contact point of Saint-Josse-ten-Noode. You can review together with him or her the form. The NCP can answer to your questions, can provide you with feedback, comments, and suggestions about your idea, and then the Saint-Josse-ten-Noode contact point will will suggest you to contact your national contact point of your country to go on through the proposal submission, so towards the proposal submission deadline. If you're interested in this service and you want to meet us on site physically, in presence, you can meet us at the SMIG event in Paris in May. So this is an opportunity to you to use this service in presence. But now I would like to focus on one of the most important tool we have developed in Saint-Josse-ten-Noode, the security research map, the so-called SEREMA database. The purpose of the database is to increase the visibility of civil security related research in Europe, and also to optimize the networking opportunities between the various actors in the security sector. such as the research organization, the university, the public authorities, the practitioners, the critical infrastructure operators, small and medium enterprises, etc. CEREMA would like to be a focal point for all Cluster 3 stakeholders interested in submitting proposals in Cluster 3. This is how the database appears when you search for CEREMA. You need firstly to register to access all the features of CEREMA, to see all the section on the different section of the database. But let's see why it's important to you, to potential applicants, to register to CEREMA. First of all, because it represents a one-stop shop to start your concrete experience with civil security research and innovation in Horizon Europe. Secondly, because it's a mean to call the attention of the Cluster 3 network about your competencies and your skills. It's a way to promote your research and your innovation ideas and capabilities through the dedicated section called Marketplace. And finally, because it's a concrete and useful way to find partners for security research projects in Horizon Europe and also beyond. So the first step when you have registered to the CEREMA database is to describe your organization, your team in a short version and in an attractive manner. So make sure you also choose the relevant keywords for your project idea. You will also have the possibility to publish your project ideas, your innovations, potential, your services or partnership requests in the marketplace section. And you can also invite other teams to enlarge the audience of CEREMA database. The second step is to access the two different sections. So one section is the participant section and the other one is the marketplace. Right now, so far, we have 443 profiles, but the number is constantly growing. So far, more than 400 people are using the CEREMA database for networking purposes. You can filter them on the basis of different filters, such as the organization types, the areas of activities, the countries, the type of EU project activities, and so on. And once you filter out the information you need, you can send out a meeting invitation and you can also chat with them. The CEREMA database give you the possibility to meet these people online, so to organize online meetings. And finally, the final step and the final reason why you should sign in CEREMA database is to remain up to date with all the CEREM 5 opportunities. Also CEREMA will be updating keywords and call topics inside the participants and marketplace systems every time a publication of a new call will come close. So it's constantly updated. So if you need other information, other support regarding CEREM 5 services or regarding specifically CEREMA, you can access directly CEREMA with the link you can see in this slide. You can contact the CEREM 5 partner responsible for CEREMA, Miss Elisabeth Andresdottir, and I leave you also the general contact of CEREM 5 if you need other information about the project, about our services. So that's it from my side. I'm checking if there are some questions via Slido. Yeah, there is one. Okay, I hope you see my screen. So will there be any European Commission or CEREM 5 events for Cluster 3 2024 course and topics for brokerage event and information. Yes, there will be a info day and brokerage event in June, but all the new information will be presented at the end of the event. And Saint-Josse-ten-Noode will be also present at SMIG, because Saint-Josse-ten-Noode is one of the main organizers of SMIG. SMIG is a brokerage event, and within the Saint-Josse-ten-Noode website you can read all the details about this event. So stay up to date. If you are interested, you can subscribe also to our newsletter. All the information are within our website. Let me check if there are other questions. I've seen one question for Zeil. Let me check. Do you offer bid review rather than idea check? It depends on, you should ask this question to your national contact point in your country. For example, in Italy, we offer the pre-screening service to our Italian customers. So people can send me the final version of the proposal to a final check before 2 weeks before the submission of the proposal. Zeil, there is a question for you. Is a provocative, let's say, question. You say the EC is our customer. Is this true? Aren't the practitioners our customers? Would you like to reply with this question?
The commission, right? So, okay, well, of course, the end users are our customers. It's a great question, actually. So, in the context of the project and the call topics, we are trying to fulfill the commission's requirements. They're the challenges, and the challenges are the ones that the project have to fulfill through their solutions, and in turn the solutions will fulfill the requirements of the end users. So yes, but then you could argue how the end users, we could say our citizens are end users. So in context of what I was talking about and the project call, the commission is our customer. We have lots of customers.
Yeah, it's true. Thank you, Zeil. So thank you very much, Zeil. Now I would like to encourage you to take a coffee. We have 10 minutes of coffee break, and we will start again at 11 with the part 3 of the event dedicated to the successful experience in cluster 3. On the small and medium enterprises perspective, and then on the end users perspective. So see you in 10 minutes. Thank you. Hello everybody, welcome back.
Yes.
I would like to give the virtual floor to the moderator of the first panel dedicated to small and medium enterprises in cluster 3. So please, Marta Kolarova, my colleague in Saint-Josse-ten-Noode at cluster 3 national contact point in Slovakia. Please take the virtual floor.
Yes, thank you, Flavia. So welcome everyone for today's first panel, this discussion, successful SMEs in cluster 3. Briefly introduce you about what we try to share with you in this panel. We have prepared short presentation session in which 5 minutes presentations will be presented by each panelist with 2 slides, describes with a main feature as organization from which he/she is, rating, and also with 1 key question for panelists at the end of each presentation. answered on free discussion at the end, of course. Okay. So, excuse me, I do not share my screen. The main idea to discuss today and objective of this panel is to provide a discussion about how to support SMEs to have a higher interest in security research solution, how to boost their innovation to reach the market, and how to build the right consortia by effective way, and of course to share some practical examples and experience with you during this panel debate. Therefore, I would like to introduce our four panelists as SMEs representatives for today's panel. Mrs. Eva Vojcíková from Abmerit, Slovakia, Mr. Umberto Battista from STEM, Italy, Bernard Jager from Senio, Austria, and Mrs. Inés Zamora from Mobility on Technology, Spain. Now we are ready to start. So I would like to invite the first panelist, Umberto. Please, floor is yours with your first presentation.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Marta, and thank you, everyone, for inviting me today. So let me share my screen first, just a second. Okay, I hope you can properly see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, great. So first of all, my name is Umberto Battista. I'm the Chief Technology Officer of STAM. STAM is an SME based in Italy. Our typical role in European projects is partner, but several times we've been also coordinating projects. Personally, I've been coordinating projects mainly in security fields for the last 10 years. Beside security, we are very active in many other fields, ranging from defense and space to logistics, transports, and mobility, which are the main areas where I'm mostly operating personally. Then robotics and automation, and finally energy and sustainability. As a company, we've been working in European funded projects since FP4. But personally, I've been working starting from FP6, 7 until Horizon 2020, Horizon Europe, but also other programs. What we do, what we provide mostly in security projects is mainly simulation-based solutions for crisis scenarios, large crowds, including extended reality, serious gaming solutions. As well as decision support systems for infrastructure and risk management against cyber physical threats and natural hazards. Just a few more words very quickly about STAM. Who is STAM? We are a high-tech engineering company. These are some key figures about the company. I don't want to read them all, not to waste too much time. We're a team of around 60 engineers with multidisciplinary expertise. We have in-house laboratories to develop our own solutions, and a very wide partnership, which has been, of course, built through many collaborative projects. We are a top applicant SME in European innovation projects, and not just in Horizon Europe. But then I will move to the next slide just to give you a few words about the project I'm representing, which is Safe Cities. I am the coordinator of this project. It's an innovation action which started in November 2022 for a total duration of 26 months, even if we are currently negotiating an extension. What is the project about? The main goal is to develop a security vulnerability assessment framework enabled by modeling a simulation in order to be able to create scenarios, simulate threats and crowd behavior, support design and retrofitting of urban space, support planning and training, and provide advanced analytics for protection of public spaces and crowded space in general. We are developing and integrating a large number of tools. I don't want to enter into the details. In the case, I can provide you during the question session. Just few final words about the consortium. We are 16 partners and one associated entity from the UK. There you can see, I mean, the geographical distribution of the partners. What is the most important? We have 4 use cases involved in the projects where we are testing and demonstrating our solutions. The very next one will be in May in the Netherlands, where we will demo our preliminary version of our solution implemented for a music festival, a large music festival in the Netherlands. That's all from my side. So if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm here to answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation with valuable practical experience. Also, as you have presented, your company benefited from the participation in EU project, participation in EU-funded project. So the question for you is, what are the benefits for your company from the participation in EU-funded projects in the security sector?
Okay. Well, of course, there is a number of benefits for us and for SMEs in general participating to such projects. First of all, of course, it's quite simple. It's funding for developing new technologies and new capabilities in new, like let's say state-of-the-art technologies, or even more advanced than the state-of-the-art. So still not state-of-the-art. For doing what? For improving our solutions, for developing new technologies, new capabilities, new expertise that we can offer to our customers, so we can improve and widen our offering to customers. We can, let's say, take advantage of technology transfer, because as an engineering company, we have solutions for quite a large number of in market fields. So there might be something that we have developed for a specific field that we can exploit also in the security domain. Of course, through participating to projects, we also can gain quite a large visibility because we can showcase our solutions. We have also networking opportunities, not only, I mean, in like dissemination events, but also within the consortium itself, because maybe you are partnering with some new organizations which specifically in the security domain includes law enforcement agencies, first responders, public administration, operators, which at the very end are the target customer for what we are developing. So, I mean, very shortly, I would say these are the main benefits, at least for us, in this from participating to security projects.
So perfect. So I can see that the benefits for the involved SME. This should be also an option for our next discussion. If you have any comments or you would like to know more, you can still use our Q&A session. Now, maybe move to the second analyst, Bernhard Jäger. Please, floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. Many thanks first for the invitation. I hope you can hear me okay. And I will quickly share my presentation. So please let me know if you can see it. You can see it, right? Yeah. Oh, okay. Perfect. So my name is Bernhard Jäger. I'm leading the research department of Synio. Synio is a research development and advisory company. We're based in Vienna, and yeah, as you can see in the bottom of the slide, we are also in the game, so to say, for quite a while. So myself, I'm working in European projects since the FP7 program. Also coordinated my first projects in there. And yeah, from there, we've been in Horizon 2020, Horizon Europe, ISF, SURF, REC, EDF, and many other different programs. As a company, and especially for my particular domain, we are very much involved in safety and security projects. So we also handle other projects in, for instance, in the health and in the energy domain. But let's say one of our main pillars is definitely security. And since FP7, we are also creating, managing, and partnering in security projects, dealing with very diverse topics from organized crime, terrorism networks, disaster resilience, cybersecurity. And during the last years, we are also more and more involved in the SSRI and in innovation procurement, which is kind of a niche, but a very interesting one. And it's also one of our biggest projects at the moment, which I will tell you then in a few minutes a little bit more about it. As company, we're yeah, I would say we're small but powerful. We have a very diverse team. So we have project managers, but we also have in-house researchers in several domains. So especially also in the security domain. We have in-house developer team. So also in many of the projects, we're also building up platforms, for instance, so mainly web development. And we also have an in-house designer and dissemination team. So also we handle communication aspects and yeah, let's say preparing material for projects to be also represented in a nice way. As I said, this makes it quite interesting for us. So in many cases, we build up kind of own ideas that we are creating based on the insights that we have from previous projects, and then, so to say, allocate the most interesting partners that we can find for the particular topic. And yeah, through the last 10, 12 years, we also build up a huge network of partners, especially in the security domain. And I think that's also, let's say, a key point in knowing the field, but also knowing, let's say, the right partners for your project, which is key, because it makes a huge difference, so to say, with whom you work for 2 or 3 years. And let's say having the partners which are also in the same way as you are engaged and interested in creating something special and not just ticking off boxes. And I think that's therefore it's really important also to understand who is out there and having also the insights in the projects on partners that really do an excellent job and that you want to have on board. We also really love to work with and for end users. So we have huge networks in the LIA domain, so in the law enforcement domain, and also in the EMS, emerging medical services domains. I also mentioned here 2 platforms that we've built up through our projects and which are still running and active and also involved in additional projects. So whatever we build up, of course, we want to have sustainability for, and we also want to make use of our outcomes beyond the end of the projects. And so one of the platforms, the First Line Practitioners, for instance, is in the meantime involved in 6 different European projects that took place, and where we, so to say, use our network to showcase and raise awareness on the particular outcomes. So this is very much law enforcement and security based. The other thing, iProcure Security, is more focused in the EMS domain. And recently we also built up an own innovation procurement platform that we use in especially in the innovation procurement PCP projects. One of these I want to very, very briefly present you, because it's one of our biggest and, in my humble opinion, also most interesting projects. It's called iProcure Security PCP. With PCPs, maybe not so many of you are familiar. This is really, there are not so many calls where PCPs are funded, but they're even more interesting, as in PCPs, actually, you're like, as here in our project, you're gathering the end users for a particular domain. In our domain, it's emergency medical services from different countries across Europe. And with them, you're trying to build up a new solution. In our case, we are focusing on triage management. So we want to innovate how triage management in case of mass casualty incidents happen, how to, so to say, bring it to the 21st century, because we learn from our emergency medical services, where, for instance, we have many organizations like Red Cross from Austria or from Greece on board. And they were kind of telling us and showing us in many cases how different it's worked within countries, and especially then also if you have cross-border incidents where you have EMS organizations from different countries which have to face and manage such an incident. And it gets very quickly very complicated, because there are very different systems, different standards that are used, and so on. The idea is to build up here a system which allows you to more quickly build up a proper triage system, starting with the constant tracking of the vital signs of the patients, with the monitoring of the patients from where they are in different parts of the process. Handover processes should be more easy. Data transfer between the different actors has to be more easy. And finally, also quality assurance and training measures play a huge role. And the interesting part on the PCP is you're not building up the solution on your own. You're forming the requirements with your partners, and then you make a call for tender, and you invite the industry to participate in this call for tender. And you then have a process, let's say competitive process, where in different phases, you start with, in the beginning, with 5 or 6 first ideas of suppliers, and then you sort out. And at the very end, at the last phase, then 2 of these solutions are really developed at the stage where they can be tested and piloted with the EMS practitioners. So this is, as I said, it's pre-commercial procurement. So it's one stage before the actual procurement, and it allows really the end users to form solutions while they are created. And that's not an easy process, but it's really worth doing that. We really see how much influence and how important the feedback of the MS organizations, of the future procurers of a solution is at this stage, and how much it can form these kind of solutions which are very close already to the market level. And yeah, as I said, as I'm running a bit out of time, it's maybe a niche topic, but it's something that's really worth doing and investing time. And it's also here, especially what is of the heart of our organization, is that we really love to work with end users of different parts and make, in the end, a change for them in their, let's say, everyday work. And I think PCPs are a perfect example how research can influence and really change actual work of practitioners that are out there. with that, I would close my presentation and yeah, happy to receive your questions.
Fine. Thank you very much for your presentation. Now we would like to hear something more from your experience. And my question is about lesson learned. So, in the presence of those you encountered, or in case something does not work for you, in which way have you transferred this into a lesson learned?
I think if you're coordinating projects, this is a daily thing. You constantly come across issues and problems you have to deal with, and you can plan ahead. And it's very important to plan ahead properly, but you cannot plan everything, and you cannot expect everything that comes up. Especially in the PCP, it's a good example. You work a lot with end users, but you also work a lot with governmental organizations, where you might face certain obstacles, delays, because processes might take longer than expected. There are so many people and processes involved where you don't have any control of. So you always have to be flexible in finding the best solution for the partners that you're leading. And ideally, as I said before, you have a great team. You have partners that support you, that inform you up front when things go wrong, where you can sit together on a table and come to a conclusion. And I think there you really see also the difference in projects, and for those who are in projects for quite a while, and have seen different consortia. Every consortia is a bit different, but for us, one of the most important aspects to have partners, especially core partners you can rely on, and then you will be able to solve and find workarounds for almost any problem that comes up. So I think having the right people with the right experience on board is one of the most important parts, and probably one of the biggest lessons learned. So really, also when building consortia, ensure you're not just know the organizations, ideally you know the people, and you also have a good relation with the people that you work with, then this will make a huge difference. I hope this answered your question.
Yes, very nice answer. So many thanks for this, for your all recommendations. And now we can go on. So now we speaker to present her presentation, Mrs. Eva Wojcikova from Admerit. Please, Eva, floor is yours.
Thank you, Marta. Thank you for the floor. Well, I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, we can hear.
So I'm
No
going to share.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Okay. So I hope you can see my screen with the presentation. Yes, good. So good morning, everyone. Thank you again for inviting us here to this meeting. So my name is Eva Wojcikova, and I'm from a Slovakian company called AB Merit. So we are a private company working in the field of nuclear and radiological emergencies, we can say in general, for more about like 20, 25 years. We are a SME, well, small company at around 12 or 15 people. And okay, so concerning today's topic, our typical role in projects in the horizon in the EU projects was that we were a partner, and we have experience from like historically experience from the Horizon 2020. And maybe what is more like actual that we are now in running project, and also we had some project with the European Space Agency, so it was not with the EU but ESA, European Space Agency. But Okay, so back to the our main field of interest in case of the security, civil security, and in general, our main field of interest is that we are focused on the nuclear and the radiological emergency preparedness. We have like typical end users and customers, operators of the nuclear power plants or nuclear facilities, and then on the level of government, for example, like nuclear governmental protection bodies or public health authorities. And so our main field of interest is that we are authors of the decision support system, which is called ESTE, like Emergency Source Term Evaluation. And this, our decision support system is applied for the crisis centers in multiple fields, but everything is connected to the accidents or incidents. We have other, we can say, expertise also in the environmental impact assessments. So in the like analysis and the radiological environmental impact assessments. And like recent applications are that we are a little bit focused also to the space applications. So just really briefly, we have our code. Our code is running in like 24/7 in customers in emergency preparedness centers and on the level of nuclear facilities or governmental bodies. But if I switch back to the R&D or the Horizon project, our experience was in the year of 2014-15, where we were a partner of bigger project. It was called FastNet. The main project coordinator were the French like IRSN, the Radiological Protection Institute, and there were about 20 other partners. On the slide, I've mentioned just a few of them. And well, in case of this project, which was focused on the nuclear severe accident and preparations, we were focused with the other partners of preparation of some scenarios for severe nuclear or radiological accidents. And we were, the objective was like to improve the methodologies, how to respond to these types of like threats. So that's more or less all from the field. I will not talk about the other projects which are not EU funded, but that's like the general view of our experience, like a small SME private Slovakian company. Thank you. So if you get questions.
Thank you very much for an interesting presentation. And now the question for you. How do you manage the exploitation of project results? How do you work towards market uptake of your innovation?
Well, yes, that's what I wanted to explain to you a bit, that as we are like, we can say, small company, and our focus is really on the end users, that our codes are running 24/7 in the crisis centers, for example. So also the results or the experience, what we gain during these projects, like was, for example, FastNet, as everything is in our hand and we are authors of our decision support system, I can say that we can directly implement some of the functionalities and some of the, how to say, some of the new potentials, what we gain during the project solution, and we can somehow directly implement it into the functions of our code. So the dissemination, we can say, is directly to the end user. Again.
Okay, thank you very much for your answer, and let's go on. So next, I would like to invite Daois Zamora from Spain, so to present her presentation. Daois, please.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm going to share my screen. Yes, I am going to share my screen.
So, excuse me, his presentation, fine.
Okay, can you see my presentation and hear me? Okay,
Yes,
good
you
morning.
can see. Okay.
Thank you, Marta. I am David Zamora. I am the CEO of the company Mobility Ion Technologies, but we call it at Mayon. We are located in Spain. Mayon is an SME. At this moment, there are 8 of us working, mainly engineers, and we typically participate in Horizon projects as partners. But we recently, this week, received the notification that we are one of our projects has been funded and we will act as a coordinator. Our main field is working in border management, because our technology is, the aim of our technology is detection. So our main field is border management for the detection of explosives, narcotics, etc. But this technology can be applied in other subtopics within the cluster 3. We have experience in Horizon 2020, Horizon Europe, and our detectors can be also used in the military domain within the European Defence Funds projects. So, as I said, our main expertise is border management and detection. The Meteor project was funded last year within the topic Border Management 0103. The project started in October and it is a 3-year duration project. The concept of this project is the development of new solutions for cargo inspection. This project is well aligned with the customs needs. You can see in the table the collaboration in this project includes Dutch customs, Belgian customs, Spanish customs, and Irish customs. We call it as the Atlantic customs. The first activity is the identification of the real problems of customs. Typically, the main problem in Europe is the cocaine. So this project will detect many things, but it is high or very, very specific for cocaine detection. What we use for detection is a new concept of cargo screening, which is based on our own technology. Our proprietary technology is the DMA, it's a differential mobility analyzer, which in combination with GC gas chromatography, a photoionization system, and with a big modification of our DMA, and using non-target screening technologies based on deep learning algorithms, techniques, we are able to identify the presence of illegal substances in containers by the analysis of the air inside of the container. With this system, we collect the air from the container, from the truck. It is valid for pallets and for other scenarios, even people, scanning of cars, etc. But in this project, it's focused on maritime containers because this project is focused on customs administrations. We extract the air. We collect a representative sample of air from the container in a filter, and this filter is then analyzed. We have now a solution based on mass spectrometry, but the idea of this project, of this innovation action, is to replace this mass spectrometer with a very innovative solution, cheaper, more portable, and more easy to handle than the previous one. So the second objective of the Meteor project is the validation of the technology, the detector, in a real environment, and the validation of the technology with real illegal substances, many drugs. This is why we need the support, the active support from custom authorities. And it's also important that the project includes the development of a business plan and the product development program. Within this project, Smith Detection, the multinational company in security, will support us in the process to go from a prototype validated in a real environment, TRL7, to the market. These are the main objectives of the project. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. And now one question also for you. Okay. So the question is how the personnel in your organization benefit from the participation in EU funded projects in terms of skills, new competencies, and so on. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you for the question. It is a very interesting question. I would like to highlight two main aspects. In one hand, the collaborative approach of European projects gives us access to real experts in different fields, which is essential to have a continuous learning of our team. For example, in the case of a Meteor project, one partner is the Institute of Microelectronics in Barcelona. So this collaboration with real experts in microelectronics is a continuous learning process for our team. This is quite amazing, the capacity of learning of our team when we work together. This is one important aspect. And secondly, and not less important, the collaboration with public bodies, in our case, police authorities or mainly custom authorities, provide us access to real environment facilities, which is, in my opinion, essential to validate the technology, but also to know, this is important, to know the real market needs and the real market conditions. So when we develop a detector, it can be adapted to the real conditions. And this project, the collaboration with public organizations, customs in this case, is essential for us to know the real market conditions. And also, this collaboration with public organizations is critical to have access to real substances. In few words, it's not possible to develop a cocaine detector without real sample of cocaine. So for our chemists, for the group of our chemists, it's essential to have access to these samples to develop the detection method, and this is important very important for our team.
Thank you very much for your answer. So you still need to monitor the market, yes, of course. And now we can move to the panel of Q&A, and we can start reflecting with some questions from our pool. So I will check the pool here. It is the only one question. Which is your recommendation for SME that wants to approach for the first time participation in cluster 3? So who would like to answer this interesting question?
I could say something.
Yes.
So I think if you're new to the game, and I remember back when so to say when I was starting to do my first proposal and building my first consortium, and I think it's really key if you're new to the field, try to find experienced people. So we heard today NCPs are important. So I can speak for Austria. We have a great NCP who is and who supported us also over the year. So that's definitely a resource that you should use. And the other thing is, again, partner-wise. So try to find somebody who knows the game, who can give you, so to say, a lot of the context, and ideally somebody who is not just, let's say, artificially in the coordination of administrative aspects, but also somebody who knows the field, who knows the content on what you're doing, and has the experience on what is important in building up proposals, and in ideally also someone who has seen a lot of evaluations already and can tell you what the evaluators are looking at, what might be more important. You have very limited space, so you have to make decisions on what to focus. And I think that's definitely a key part. As I try to integrate as much experience as you can in your consortium.
And very interesting. Are there any other comments on this question?
Yes, it's David. One peculiarity of this, the cluster 3, in my opinion, is the need of participation of police authorities or custom authorities and other public bodies. So when you start, it's difficult to establish this connection. So my recommendation is similar to the Bernard recommendation, is to be in contact with experts in the field. Because for one SME or one small company, it's very difficult to knock the door to the custom authorities. Hey, this is my solution, can you support me? Perhaps the answer is silent. But if you are with the hand of one expert or one company or organization familiar with this topic, they have very good connections, and this is essential for this topic. This is my main recommendation.
Fine, thank you. There are no more questions, but I still have time. So Bernard, you also mentioned the importance of innovation in your project. Could you explain what is the next challenge for you? What do you prefer to do differently?
I would say innovation-wise, it's in any project that you're in the research domain, I think you only have chances if you're striving for something outstanding and new. And I think this also is the importance of these mechanism of these funding programs. So you're competing more or less with the best players in a certain area, and finally one or two proposals will get funded, which means you have to find the cherry on top, and that's always the innovation part in many aspects. This might be technological wise, this might also be methodological wise. It might also to have certain additional aspects included, so to say, in your proposal that others won't or probably won't think of. And I think it's especially this competition which finally leads to outstanding and new ideas. So for us, I said a focus for us during the last years, and this will certainly increase, is the innovation procurement part, because we really saw how powerful it is. And I said we do what we do because we want to make a change out there. And for us, innovation procurement is an excellent tool to do that, because you can see the change and you can see that you make a difference in what you're doing. And I said, working with end users and seeing how big the influence is on what is achieved and how solutions are shaped and solutions that they will use further on. That's just great to see, and it's for us great time and resources to be invested. So that's definitely so to say, one aspect that we want to focus on more in future. And yeah, so say also invite others to take these chances and to make use of the tools that are out there.
Thank you very much. And I can see that there is still a last final question from audience. So how important do you think your impact strategy is within your project? Would like to make some comments or some suggestion? Would like to comment this question?
I can say a few words. I understand that impact strategy is the strategy of the participant. Your impact strategy in your project. So the first thing is to select the correct topic and to have clear the final objectives of the project, just to match the strategy of the company with the strategy or the impact of the project. So I had one case in the past that the project and the strategy of the company and the strategy of the project was different, and this typically don't have a very good results. So I think when you select a topic and you are involved in an European project, it requires a lot of time, a lot of resources, a lot of effort to execute one project, should be aligned with the strategy of the company. This is my words about this question.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone, for participating in this panel, and have a nice day. Yes, that's all from my point of view. Flavia?
But there is another question.
There is another question?
Slido, yes.
Slido, yes. Yes, there is one more question. If unexperienced, should we try it or should we look for an experienced player? Maybe this is the last question.
Yeah.
Fine. Who would like to answer this question? Okay. Doris or Eva? Who is now?
Umberto, please.
Umberto,
Yeah,
yes.
okay, yeah. Well, honestly, I cannot add anything more to what Bernard Erdau is already mentioned. I mean, if you are totally inexperienced, I want to be honest, you have no chances to win. I have seen this several times in the past. And security is even more challenging than many other clusters, because there are most of the time one or less than one proposal funded per topic. And you also must engage law enforcement agencies, customs, and so on. Otherwise, you are not even eligible. So it's very much complicated. You must, let's say, engage someone who has experience in this, because it's a very hard job and very much complicated, even starting from building the consortium. So yeah, I fully agree with what the colleagues said before me.
Fine, so now we can close our panel, and thank you very much for very fruitful discussion in this panel, and we can go on, Flavia. Thank you very much for participation.
Thanks to you for the invitation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Fine.
Thank you. Thank you for all the panelists from Small and Medium Enterprises. And thank you, Marta, for the moderation. Now it's time to start the second panel of the event. This panel is dedicated to success certificates in cluster 3 from end users. And the moderator of the panel will be Ms. Paia Pitelli, my colleague in 5, and cluster 3 national contact point. So please, Paia, take the lead of the panel.
Thank you, Flavia. I would like to welcome you to this second panel of the event. I would like to ask to all panelists of this panel to switch on their cameras so we can see them. And the objective of this panel is to share experience among panelists, among practitioners, and encourage newcomers to get involved in Cluster 3 projects. First, I would like to introduce the panelists. We have Evaldas Visokas. from the Police Department under the Ministry of the Interior of the Republic of Lithuania, Russell Talutker from Polish Platform for Homeland Security from Poland, Thierry Hartmann from the French Ministry of Interior, Alexander Rosner from FORAN, the German network of practitioners, and Dimitrios Gritsapis, Police Lieutenant Colonel from the Hellenic Police Headquarters in Greece. I suggest to start with the presentations before continuing with the discussion. I would like all of you to be very brief with the presentations. At this point, I would like to remind to all participants that they can still submit their questions in Slido, and hopefully we can address some of them during the second round of discussion. So starting with the presentation, Evardos, would you like to start?
Yes. Just a moment, I will share my presentation. I hope I will succeed with that. Just a moment, please. Oh, sorry. Okay, share. Can you see my presentation?
Not yet.
Okay. Just wait for a little bit. Can you see it?
Not yet, unfortunately.
Okay, just a moment. I will try to manage it somehow.
I can share it.
Yeah, if you may. Okay, thank you. Well, I was already introduced. My name is Evaldas Visotkas. I'm working at the Police Department under the Ministry of Interior of Lithuania. It's great to be here to present our experience in Horizon projects and previous ones. As you understand, we are law enforcement institutions. We're actually police, and usually our role in the project is partner. My personal experience, I have finished the third project of Horizon, and recently we received invitation for the next one because we won a grant, so it's a pleasure for me to present what we already did in this area. We are working in the security sector, and our main expertise in public security, crime investigation, being first responders in emergency and disaster resilience, and cooperation with society. Actually, I would like to speak about our former project that we finished last year. Can you please switch to the next slide? Okay. The title of the project was the Lean. It was augmented reality technology, a new tool for law enforcement and dealing with terrorist threats. We started the project in 2020, finished, as I said, just this the last year. We had 14 partners from all the EU, and the leading partner was Center for Research and Technology, HELES. It's from Greece. It was a great team, a big challenge. We were creating augmented reality ecosystem for law enforcement institutions to enhance their awareness of the situation during the terrorist attacks or mass events, just to detect certain dangerous things, dangerous persons, dangerous situations, and to help the officers on the field to deal with them more efficiently and safely. Can you switch to the next slide? So the system consisted of a network of sensors, was centered around the augmented reality glasses, which were wear by the police officers. The system also included smart band on the police officers, which measured health indicators, and CCTV or drone cameras were included as well in the system. The information from augmented reality glasses went to the Berlin cloud, where it was evaluated as the systems of artificial intelligence system, and sent back to the glasses. To the processed information was sent to the augmented reality glasses in real time, with information about the suspected let's say, dangerous situations in the field of view. So it was important, especially when you work with a crowd, a lot of people that you must observe to identify threats. And it's a great help for the police officer to assess the situation. Can you switch next slide, please? And the system was connected with command and control center, with the Berlin cloud, where all the calculations took place. And maybe if there is no connection, everything could be calculated on the Berlin patrol car edge node. So it was a possibility to react and to respond independently from the availability of a connection. Actually, everything was connected through 5G network and, well, benefited from the speed of this connection. So it was a good chance to touch this edge technology, to understand it. Unfortunately, it was not meant to be developed to the commercialized level product. We reached only TRL 6, so it was more like a pilot project, but it helped us to have a glimpse into the future technology and to understand how it works and what we can expect and how to use such technology in the future, because it's just a matter of a few years, but we will use such technology in the field, I believe. So that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Valdas. You will have the chance to give more insights in the discussion. Now I would like to ask Alexander to share his presentation and in parallel ask the rest of the panelists to get prepared for their turn.
Thank you, Laia. Just give me a second, please. Could you give me some feedback if it's sharing?
Yes, we see it.
Okay, thank you for the invitation. So my name is Alex. I'm working for the German Federal Agency for Technical Relief. You can see the logo at the top. And yeah, we are based in Germany. We are a disaster management agency. From type, we are a public body, and I mean, we call ourselves practitioner, end user, first responder, second responder, whatever you want. What kind of roles do we have typically in projects? It's either coordination or partner. I think we might be the unicorn under the European practitioners who actually coordinate. You can see on the right-hand side different European funded projects. For instance, SASO, Cursor, Synergize, and DareNet has been coordinated by THW. And the main field we are working in is disaster resilient society, but we are also interested in sustainability topics, mobility, and in general, the energy transition, because I mean, it affects society in all emergency response organizations. THW has started with, or professionalize their research with Horizon 2020 and in Horizon Europe. But yeah, we are pretty lucky in Germany that we even have a civil security national funding program by the Ministry of Education and Research. So we also participate with national funded research. And if we look into these kind of projects, there are different kinds of expertise. So where we are either work package leader, coordinator, and this is often a scenario and requirements definition, the testing and evaluation of, for instance, technologies or
Alex, I'm not hearing you anymore. Okay,
yeah.
now I can hear you. Please continue.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. For
Okay.
some
How much
moments,
did you miss?
maybe the last sentence of your previous slide.
Okay, sorry for that. So I was just saying that we are doing also small and large scale field tests, which is often done with the testing and evaluation, and that we are also do a lot of community building, so bringing practitioners together. This is what we do with the European projects, but I would like to take the opportunity to talk about the project I'm coordinating, which is actually not a European project, but which is pretty interesting, I think, for the audience here. It's called the German Practitioner Network for Civil Security Research. It's a national funded project which runs for 3.5 years. We are coordinating, so THW is the coordinator, and we have more than 30 German practitioners who are in this project and as associated partners. The main idea is that we would like to increase the participation of German practitioners in Cluster 3. So it's basically the topic of this panel discussion here. And what we are doing in the project is that we try to empower and enable German practitioners to apply for research, and that we are offering a service of brokerage. So if national or international consortia contact us, we try to basically broker the right German practitioner. As I'm saying, we have more than 30 who are in general interested in European research. And I would like to share one slide more here. That's how it looks like in a nutshell. I mean, we have a network for law enforcement agencies, fire services, emergency medical personnel, and a few critical infrastructure operators. And this was the first step, to create this kind of network. And the second step is that we try to help them that they are actively participating in EU-funded research. How we do that? We have certain workshops. It's about capability gaps workshops. It's how to write a proposal. It's even a boot camp where we invite them to actively work with the consortia on the proposal stage. And this is all funded by the Foran network. So as we as coordinators invite them and basically pay for all of the services. And the hope is that the German practitioners get better and more active in EU-funded research, in particular Cluster 3. And yeah, if you're interested, and please get in contact with us. Maybe we can also help you getting a better practitioner, or maybe we find the right practitioner in Germany for you.
Thank you, Alex. Rachel, are you here to share your presentation?
I am. Good morning, everyone.
I can hear you.
Okay,
and now I can see you as well.
Alexander. I have information that Alexander will stop sharing content as soon as you start sharing. Okay, sure. I'm taking. I go to present mode. Okay. It's working?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So hello, everyone. My name is Directorate-General. I'm from Poland, from Polish Platform for Homeland Security. We are a non-profit organization established by Polish police and 10 universities in 2005. And was like, in fact, was very interesting what Alexander said at the end about the projects, and I'm still impressed. I'm thinking about our activities that we are doing for Polish law enforcement agencies, and I'm also thinking about what kind of activities are we doing. Maybe some of them are similar, which we do, but in cooperation with our national contact point, because we do a lot of at least annual meetings with police forces and other law enforcement agencies. So it was very inspiring. Thank you. Of thinking how to maybe put it into the structure. And I'm also looking at Renata Rycerz, who is our NCP. I saw Renata at the list, so we can talk about it later on. So we are not a practitioner from a formal perspective, but we are working daily with practitioners. Till 2016, only in Poland, but since 2016 and 17, we started our journey with European projects, which was and still which is very interesting. We are involved in a variety of projects. Now it's more than I think 15 ongoing, and it was more than 25 in all total European projects. We are focused only on security sector. So cluster 3 is our main domain, but we are also using other funds from Erasmus Plus, where we are doing interesting trainings and it's also interesting way how the Erasmus Plus can be used in a good way as a program to finance the trainings for practitioners, and we are doing it for the justice system. We are using also ISF program, Just Digital Europe. We submitted also, but I think without success, proposals and serve. And by the way, congratulations to everyone who got an email 2 days ago or emails with the new projects. So it's always a nice emails to get from European Commission. And I remember your question from the very beginning about how to encourage the newcomers. It's very difficult to the newcomers. So it's also very me personally to say it's to encourage in that way the newcomers, that because it's very difficult to get into this boat of those partners. We have also heard I think that voices in the previous panel, that there are a lot of partners which have a lot of experience already, and it's difficult to get into this group, but still I would say it's worth to try. So if the newcomers have enough resources, energy, and maybe the energy is even most important, but also especially the good ideas, good solutions, good technologies, good teams, then it's possible, but it's difficult. On this slide, I just put few projects, in fact, 3 of them we are coordinating. So we are involved in different national and European activities. So in fact, we are involved in all topics which are related to security, from child protection through digital forensics to counter drone systems. We coordinate also one of the networks, which is the network of practitioners fighting cybercrime. We are also a member of NLETS network, which is one of the European networks, but it's not a project. We are also members of EACTA, which is an association also financed or co-financed by DG Home, working in the field of developing tools for cyber to support police officers working in the area of cyber crime. So it's a lot of activities that we are involved to, but also a lot of activities that we see around Europe. Okay, maybe I will stop here, and then when we have the discussion, then I will say more.
Thank you, Russell. Let's continue with a presentation from Thierry. Thierry, are you here?
I'm here. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I.
We don't see you yet.
Okay, I wish to share. Yeah, it should work. Okay, I will share my screen. Yep. I hope my battery lasts the end of the meeting, because I have there is no more energy supply in my house, so
to be honest, we
it
don't
works.
hear you very well. Thierry, I see your presentation, but not in presenter's mode.
Okay.
Now it's fine, thank you.
It's fine. And do you hear me?
Yes, and I can hear you. Just be brief, please.
Okay. Yeah. Very quickly. I would like to thank you for inviting me in that meeting, and also to see people I'm used to work with as Rachel and all the colleagues. Very quickly, yes, I'm a police officer. I work in the French Ministry of Interior, Directorate for International Security Cooperation. And since September 2022, I'm Innovation Project Manager, which is a position that has been created after we have built within the Directorate a kind of a whole department dealing with Horizon Europe and EU-funded research project, because it is a okay, it's sometimes very difficult for our colleagues as a practitioner to get involved in research project. So we decided to build this small unit. I work with six persons to encourage, support, assist when they get involved in research project. We are preparing the floor. We inform them about funding opportunities, discussing them with their needs, and then bring them the support they need from the very beginning to the end of the project. I've also been involved in directly in some European projects. I have been the coordinator of the ILIANET project, Innovation for Law Enforcement Agency Network, which has been my first experience with Horizon Europe, and at the very beginning as a position of a coordinator, which was quite crazy to do that. And I'm also involved as in Starlight project, which is a project dealing with AI-based investigation tools as work package leader, and so and so. And the other part of my job is also to get involved at the European research and innovation scene. I'm a member of the UCB, the governance body of the European Innovation Lab. I'm also part of EACTADA, European Anti-Cybercrime Technology Development Association, and so and so and so. So I think really my main task is really to help to support the practitioner to get involved. I will speak a bit later on that. Very quickly, currently I'm experiencing again with a position of coordinator of necessary project ahead towards sustainable foresight capabilities for increasing civil security. It's a small project, 13 months duration. We started last year in September, and the main goal of this project is to work on a methodology, foresight methodology for the security sector, because I think in the security sector, when we are not used to make foresight, we are people dealing with daily job, and it's very difficult sometimes to reflect on what will be our job in 5 years, in 10 years. So the European Union asked a consortium to think about a methodology that will help LEAs, but also other actors in the civil security sector to have foresight activities. And also the project aims to deliver concrete roadmaps. Means that it's nice to have foresight, but we need also to deliver let's say, recommendation that our bosses can use in their daily job. If we come, we're telling them, okay, what will happen in 10 years with blue sky scenario, they will not use, they will not think that, okay, foresight is interesting tool for them. We need to reflect how made the foresight activities easy in the security sector and delivering results that the police bosses can decide on investment and so and so. The interesting thing, and I would like to highlight it for the project, is that it is project for LAAs and led by LAAs. So we decided to have a large practitioner basis, 10 LEAs and Ministry of Interior. You see the list on the right side, and relying on a very small technical consortium, a core consortium, 2 research center, one from Ghent or from Greece, and 1 SME. That would be for me, and I'm happy to answer your questions.
Thank you, Thierry. Let's conclude this round of presentations with the last presentation from the Hellenic Police. Dimitri, are you here?
Yeah, give me a second to share my. Okay, have to wait, Thierry. Stop sharing.
Can you please speak a little bit louder?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, it's better. I don't see your presentation yet.
Yes, wait, sorry. I have first Thierry stop sharing, and after that, not because I can share it.
Yeah, you can do it. I stopped to share my screen.
Okay. Okay, can you see?
Yes.
Like
yes,
okay.
Yes, it's fine. You can start. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Hi to everyone. I'm Dimitris Gritzapis. I have, that's something about me. I have graduated from the Department of Physics in Greece, and also I hold a PhD in Mechanical Aeronautic Engineering, awarded by the Polytechnic School of the University of Patras. And now I served as Lieutenant Colonel at the Hellenic Police Headquarters in the Technical Support Division in Athens. Before of that, I was in Crime Investigation Division for ballistic subjects, but my expertise in drones and anti-drones, I'm operator and instructor indoors by Hellenic Civis Authority. And for example, many years ago, we have a project to improve the payload of a drone with algorithm, with, of course, the help of universities, that when its flight can recognize fires for very long distances. And at the end, also, I participate as an expert in for anti-drones in the European Commission. Except of that, that I want to add for our projects, we are not many years in, I believe 5 or 6 will be active in research programs. And now Hellenic Police is participating in this research program entitled Interoperable Application Suite to Enhance European Identity and Document Security and Fraud Detection, with the acronym EISTEIN. This project has a duration of 36 months and involve a total of 21 participants, including 4 research organizations, 3 police authorities, 5 universities, 5 companies, 1 immigration service, and 3 border guard authorities. This action aims to create innovative technologies and applications to combat the forgery of identification and other travel documents. In particular, innovative applications will be developed aiming in general at researching and testing modern tools and technological methods aimed at both effective control and detection of all security documents. I believe by participation in this action, Hellenic Police is given the opportunity to pilot use and above application in order to investigate their functionality and the added value that their adoption may offer. Main objectives, so if you understand about this, it is border and external security, police authorities, biometrics, and all this. This is Valia for me.
Thank you, Dimitri. Thank you all for your presentations. Let's start the first round of discussion with a more broad question to Valdas. Evaldas, what do you consider as most significant benefits for the participation in EU-funded projects in the security sector and in particular in Cluster 3?
Okay. I think it's very important that participating in the projects, you have possibility to familiarize with existing newest technology. Because when you don't know the technology, you cannot, well, develop ideas how to deal with certain challenges that police or law enforcement institutions face, especially in current days when changes are very fast. So the possibility to know the newest technology, to try to understand how the technology works. The next thing that comes to my mind is that when you participate in the projects, you can develop solutions and applications tailored for your needs, for very specific needs. So what we see in the products available on the market, but they are developed without the consultations with law enforcement. And we have certain features that are good for us, but we miss something that is very specific for law enforcement institutions. Next thing that encourages us to participate in the projects is that we have possibility to receive those tools that we are creating in the projects for our use. We sometimes start using these products that were developed through the project period in our real life activities. So that's a very big benefit for us when you develop a good tool according to your needs and you can use it at the end. And what I want to stress that in many projects, the companies, IT companies and engineers, they are developing certain solutions and we think that we know everything about law enforcement institution needs without consulting, and well, it's a big mistake. But I would suggest to cooperate very closely from the very start to understand what are actual needs of law enforcement to develop a good tool, good solutions that will be used in the future. So, and for the developers, I think some of the people here on the panel, Thierry and others, maybe we are participating in the work of the ACTA, which is trying and certifying certain tools which are developed through the projects. I think it's a very good way for the SMEs, for research institutions to develop tools in cooperation with law enforcement, because it's kind of certification for their tools. But they are good, they are fit for the law enforcement. So I think their value in the market is much higher. So that's it.
Thank you, Valdes. Going to Russell. Russell, you implied some of the lessons learned in your presentations, but I would like to hear some more from you. And in particular, in case of obstacles you encountered, how did you transfer them into lessons learned?
I feel a little bit like a politician now because I have a question from you, but anyway, I have some things which I wanted to share. So I have a
time is limited, so please prioritize.
All right. With obstacles which I see in cooperation with law enforcement agencies and from law enforcement agencies' perspective, I think that one of the obstacles is time, that people from police forces and other law enforcement agencies usually are busy as other people are. But for police forces, participation in research and innovation activities, it's not something that they're doing daily. And even if we have people from police forces which are willing to do that and have right skills, can speak English, they have also to have permission from their bosses. So they have to explain to them, okay, I'm going to Brussels or I'm going to somewhere Malta, Spain, and we'll be discussing about the new projects like foresight for future or specific technologies. And then the boss is saying, okay, so when will be the outcome? And say, no, you know, in 3 years we will have a tier level 5 or 6, so it will be maybe a prototype tested pilot. So it's I think that that's one of the main obstacles which I see, and I don't see also the right solution, because with people which I cooperate with, like Thierry and other people from police forces, these are people who are willing to work and are willing to be involved in this project, but very often in different law enforcement agencies, I see that the organization is not ready as an institution, and it's like a long process, which I also observe it in Poland, that it's changing. Every year we have more people which are aware of how the projects are running, but what to expect or what to not expect, because I think that the expectations toward this project sometimes are too high, because the police forces are expecting practical results which will be easy to be implemented on operational level. And when the projects are finishing with this TRL 5, 6, maybe even 7, that is still a huge gap between the outcomes of the project and operational needs and activities which police on front line are doing. It's a little bit easier with forensics departments because there are researchers. So I think that would be also my advice, especially for those who are the newcomers, is that when you're speaking to practitioners directly, because it's also sometimes easier to speak through organizations which already have this experience. But when you're speaking directly, like, please choose the right people who can speak to practitioners. So for a person who is involved in like a frontline police activities, he's not interested so much about the methodology of Delphi study or how to prepare the questionnaire. It's not so relevant. He would like to, like, so for this kind of meetings, I would like to encourage to start from the end. What will be the outcome? So the police officer don't have to think and go through like 15-minute speech about, okay, at the end to know. Probably I could speak about obstacles a lot, and there are still a lot of them, but I wanted to like,
let's focus on the positive side and the lessons
okay,
learned.
okay, but it's the positive. It's that it's still changing. So even what I see, and I think that probably all of us see that maybe it was done because the European Commission forced us as a community to do that, because it was from Horizon 2020, there was the first time when the practitioners had to be members of the consortium. So I think it was a big change. And now we see the advantages and disadvantages of that, but in general, it made that the whole community start inviting law enforcement agencies, and then in the law enforcement agencies also this process started. I think that it's amazing role and important role of national contact points, how to prepare the law enforcement agencies and how to explain, how to support with preparation of gender equality plan, which is also for many LIAs still something new. Yeah, with people are overloaded with work, and I think that this is also what we could think about the future, and maybe in this foresight, which Thierry explained, projects and activities, that we should think how these organizations as a police forces should have like times for research activities, because it's like in Polish police, we have 100,000 police officers. I don't know how many people are focused on research activities, but I can imagine it could be 20 people speaking English and being involved in different European activities with this right expertise, and from time to time bringing and taking other colleagues from other units. So from theoretical perspective, it's easy for me to give the Polish example, but I know that in other countries it works sometimes more or less the same. So it's not so difficult, it's not possible, but there's a maybe on this high level that there should be a decision, like a strategic decision. Okay, we are spending 0.01% of our activities on research activities, and then we know all the processes, and we know that we cannot expect that the research and innovation actions will bring all the solutions now. It's a process. All right.
Excuse me,
I will
but
stop here.
I feel that I need to interrupt you.
Yeah. That's the reason I stopped myself.
Okay. Although at some point, especially when you're talking about obstacles, I think that you, a lot of people in the panel may be coordinated with you. Moving to Thierry. Thierry, I would like to ask you a question, since you're coming from a ministry core public sector, how the personnel in your organization benefit from the participation in EU-funded projects in terms of skills, new competencies?
Yeah, very quickly, because my battery is becoming out of resources, and so if I disappear, it's just due because I have no more choice. Yes, very quickly, because a lot of very things by the two other participants. I think European projects helps the police officer and the cops to change their mindset, and because we are used to, sometimes we are facing some problems, we are used to try to find the solution by ourselves. When I was dealing with an emergency case, he's alone. And then it brings us to have a mindset, yes, we have a problem, we will find a solution by ourselves. But regarding the challenges we are facing, it's not more possible. We need to work with people coming from other areas, private, public, and build private-public partnership that will help us to think about how we work today and how we would like to work tomorrow, and to use new means, new way of approach to make us more efficient, to have more impact on the phenomena we are confronted. So for me, why I'm involved in your research project for so more than 6 years, and really what I try to do with my colleagues is to convince the, hey guy, yes, it's cumbersome, it takes time, but we will help you. But you exploit this opportunity to discuss with people coming from the university, from the private sectors that wants to help us. I think what is really interesting currently is that we have a lot of universities that wants to work with us, because we have nice challenges for the science. So that's very interesting for them to work with us. And they can also they can help us to find new way of proceeding. So I think that's the main advantage kind of process. But we need really to think an approach. If the colleagues feels that okay, Horizon Europe is not a single stage project, but something that is on a stage on a capability starting from, yes, I have people, I can discuss with people, they can understand my needs. They will help me to develop some tools, some solution, prototype perhaps. And after that, there will be another project or another process to bring that solution to deployment. And my colleagues will be happy, not only have a nice discussion with scientists, but also working on a solution. So I make it short because really I have some other apps on my computer. Oops, sorry.
Okay, thank you. We understand the emergency. Thank you for sharing your opinion with us, and I hope that you can stay until the end. Alex, a little bit on the project's results. How do you work towards the market uptake, or may I rephrase it to the deployment of solutions, and how, from the perspective of practitioners?
Yeah, thanks for the question. Yeah, it's, I think not a so easy one question, but probably like some of the speakers before already mentioned a few aspects, which maybe I will repeat, but maybe from a disaster management agency perspective, because I mean, we are not law enforcement. I think like if you go to exploitation and project results, I think what probably most people would agree on from a practitioner perspective, it should be a successful project. So there needs to be some good outcomes which could be exploited. And going one step backwards, and I think Terry was saying it in a different way, is that if you want to have a successful project, first of all, the project needs to focus on the real first responder needs. If you don't focus on these real responder needs and which requires an active involvement of practitioners, then it's unlikely to have a successful project. But let's imagine we made it. So we have a very successful project, and then we come to exploitation. I would probably break it down into two different kinds of projects. We have these more network projects under the coordination and support action, and we have more technology-driven projects. If we think about the network project, there you sometimes have policy briefs. You try to adapt legislation. So this is like a midterm to long-term goal, which you exploit during and after the project. Even in these kind of projects, often best practices will be shared. For instance, we had a project where it was about flood resilience, and you share best practices between different countries, and that helps later on your organization because you learn from other countries and other organizations. I think what also is interesting in these kind of network project, which I always call the more soft project, is that if you define common capability gaps, because often like practitioners argue that there is no right topic, I cannot write a good proposal. But I mean, if you have the chance to define together with other practitioners capability gaps, you influence in the future research agendas. So which in the end then is basically you benefit in the next round of projects. If we focus a little bit more on the technological projects, what we have seen and with our project that we have even used prototypes in large-scale disasters. So that we use prototypes in missions and supported first responders in the field. So what also helps us and to exploit is, for instance, training material. Often in projects, you develop training material, and this can be used or training material and concepts, and these can be used like after the project in your organization or even by other organizations, which is definitely exploitation in my mind. And maybe I would like finish with like one final aspect which comes to my mind is which was, I think, was Valders was saying, it's more like a technology radar. If you are actively participating in these projects as practitioners, because you know exactly what is cutting edge technology, what is possible, what is not possible, what is on the market, what is not on the market. So then this information definitely helps your procurement departments. So to understand what can they buy, what can they buy in the future. And this is helpful in decision making if you want to spend public money. So maybe that's where I would end.
Thank you, Alex. And one final question for this round to Dimitris. Dimitri, how Horizon Europe projects affect the operational efficiency and strategic objectives of your organization as a law enforcement agency? Dimitri? Can you hear us? You're muted. Okay, until Dimitris is back with us, I would like to ask another question, possibly towards the panelists who are really representing law enforcement agencies. As most proposals require several layers, you must receive a lot of requests to participate in proposals. So how do you choose in which proposal you participate? I mean, I can imagine that even towards the deadlines, this is a difficult decision and procedure. Who would like to answer this question? Evaldas, maybe?
Yeah, I can try. Well, how we work in Lithuanian police, we have a police innovation group, and each year we are setting priorities where we can or we want to move, which are the most important problems, challenges for us. So when we receive some invitations, we pick the projects which can solve our project problems. The next point, which is important, and I pointed out that well, it is important to receive the final product that you can use. I understand that some projects are more piloting ones because we do not reach high TRL levels, but let's say our authorities, when we decide on the projects which to be involved in, they want to receive something, not just to give our know-how or our experience, but to receive something feasible. So it's important as well when we pick the project which to join. And I understand that is important not just for our organization, but for many law enforcement organizations as well, because we are asking other law enforcement institutions to join the projects that we think are important, and they use the same, let's say, criteria for joining the projects.
Thank you, Evaldas.
Maybe why I could add a few words from our perspective from THW, if you want to.
Yes, please, Alexander.
Yeah, what I would say, like also when I see the questions, what I can say from, because we also receive many requests to join the proposal, and I would like to make, like, it starts, we want to work together. So this does not help us, at least THW as practitioner. If somebody like an SME or somebody at the university says we want to work together, and I would say the opposite is you get like a 10 or 15 pages expose, which exactly in great detail lines out what they want to do. I mean, I'm not saying that you need 10 or 15 pages, but what we definitely want to have is at least the minimum of information. So what do you want to do? How do you want to achieve your goals? And I'm not talking about just copying the topic text, because I can read the topic text myself. So this is nothing what I need. I mean, I read it myself. I need it like in, what is your goal? How do you want to achieve your goal? And why do practitioners benefit from your idea? If you convince me that we can that we benefit from your idea, we can have a chat and discuss further. If you do not convince me, I don't spend the time, because there are others who convince me that there is some benefit for my organization. So that's maybe our perspective on that.
Thank you, Alex. Unfortunately, I don't see Thierry and Dimitris in the list anymore. I would like to ask them too, but anyway, let's see the questions in Slido for just some final ones. I think we have answered to the first one. Maybe we can address just quickly, Russell, about the Polish platform, if it is similar to the German Forerun network.
In the meantime, I was checking the Forerun network, the website and the internet. So we, for sure, formally, we are not a network in Poland, but we work a little bit like a network, because we are connected to all police forces, and we have one main headquarters in Warsaw and then 16 regional headquarters, and each of them can join as a separate entity to the consortium. And then we have border guard and other police forces, but not all of them. The other have gender equality plan yet. So we partly we run as a network, and for sure we can support also. So if we have any questions about can we find a good LIA from Poland which would fit to the consortium, then we also evaluate it. We also check it, or sometimes we write back that it's, as Alexander said, that it needs more details, and these details are needed before we pass it to colleagues from LIAS, because as you said, if the topic description is rewritten and then some logotypes are added, that it's not enough. Okay, so I think I answered.
Thank you. And there is also another question that maybe you can answer, or Alex, if you say that you coordinate a cybersecurity practitioner network, is this also including the network of national coordination centers? It's not very clear to me.
I can say that because I'm the coordinator of one of the networks, but it's cybercrime, like practitioners fighting cybercrime. So it's not cybersecurity.
Okay, thank you. And the last one about contacting you directly, but I suppose that we can handle it via the presentations and the contact details that you would like to share with the participants. I don't see any other question. Is there any final comment that any of you would like to make?
Maybe
Thank
I
you
would
all.
like.
Yes,
maybe
Alex,
maybe
yes.
I would like to start. I mean, just maybe for the audience, maybe the practitioners in the audience, I can definitely encourage like every practitioner to participate. It is a strategic decision, but there are many benefits. Maybe the first project is the hard one, but the second one get easier, and the third one is a big benefit. And if you take this strategic decision, I've seen it now in Germany that like there's, yeah, I would say it's changing. The world is changing, and more German practitioners want to be active because like civil security research is basically helps you for your internal strategy and solves your midterm and long-term problems. And therefore, I can just encourage you to start the process and try to participate.
Thank you, Alex. And at that moment, I just saw that Dimitris is back. Dimitris Kitsapis, is your microphone working? Can you?
Vaya, yes, I have a bad connection. That I have my problem, probably with the camera. But now I believe I'm okay.
We're a bit running out of time, but still I would like to ask you one question to listen to your perspective as well. How Horizon Europe projects affect the operational capacity, the operational efficiency and strategic objectives of your organization?
Okay, now you hear me, of course, but I will be a little shorty. Sorry about this before. Horizon Europe project, I believe, help our police work more efficient and achieve our big goals in too many ways. Firstly, they provide us new tools and ideas and make our job simpler. And for example, we might learn better ways to investigate crimes or handle information. And secondly, I believe project brings together police forces from across Europe to change our ideas, and we can share valuable information and advice while learning from each other. And these projects promote teamwork while helping us all focus on the same important goals. So, finally, projects really help us to be more effective and achieve that we aim for in our police work. That's it for me, Aya, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Dimitri. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Russell. Thank you, Valdas, for your contributions in this panel discussion and for delivering an encouraging message to newcomer practitioners, giving insights to all others potential applicants. Thank you very much. Flavia.
Thank you, Vaya, and thank you all the panelists also for this useful contribution about of end users. Now we are perfectly on time, so I'm very proud of you. Now I would like to leave the floor for the final words to Miss Valeria Bricola from RIA.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Thank you, Flavia. Good morning to all of you. It is a real pleasure for me to be here with you at the end of this dense morning. I joined you during the panels. It was extremely inspiring for me. It's very rewarding, I would like to say, to see the perspective of the end users, of your panelists participating in our project. Well, I am Valeria Bricola, the head of the Unit Secure Society in DEREA, the European Research Executive Agency. I think most of you know that DEREA assists applicants and beneficiaries of EU-funded projects, and is the entity that will implement and will manage the project in which hopefully you are going to participate. We also run the evaluations of the proposal with the help of independent experts. Well, after this dense morning, what are the takeaways from the event? I hope you got several inspiring hints from these. Certainly, from our perspective as well, we can tell you the preparation of a proposal is a long journey. It's a long journey that needs to be prepared well in advance, and I think this is the reason why you are here as well. It's a very competitive process. It is important that you start working from the very beginning with the aim to draft a proposal that is not just good, but it is excellent, with the right partners and the right research ideas. So the event of this morning that CEREN5 together with DG Home and DEREA organized was there intended precisely to trigger your interest in our cluster, in the program, having the insight of the main topics and to have the voice of what we consider to a very important category of applicants in our consortium. So you discussed this morning one relevant aspect for the preparation of a proposal, and it's never too early, too soon to start, is the consortium building. So today, very well, it has been shown in the panels that the involvement of small and medium enterprises, SMEs, and of practitioners and users is key to our program. The points discussed during the panels are an encouragement to you all, and the panelists have just underlined this encouragement to participate. Here I want to stress two perspectives on this participation. So on one hand, I want to encourage you, it should be seen as an invitation for SMEs and end users, but practitioners to look for opportunities and to start networking already now. But on the other hand, it's also an invitation to other stakeholders, for example, those that might be chef de file, as we say in writing the proposal, or future potential coordinators to involve SMEs and practitioners. And why? Because this certainly brings added value to the proposal, better quality, better impact. Why can I say this? Because over time, we have seen that, if I take SMEs, for example, SMEs possess this agility, flexibility that allow them to facilitate that this cross-disciplinary cooperation that is so valued in our program. So supporting the SMEs participation and involvement in innovation project is not only there to foster this entrepreneurial spirit, but also to promote regional development, because these companies are often deeply embedded with local ecosystems, which is not always the case with large industry. So this for the SMEs. For the end users, and I was pleased to see how many within the participants, not only the panelists, are from law enforcement agencies, police, civil protections. Practitioners and users play a pivotal role in innovation project. We saw it from our projects that are out there being implemented. They offer insight, real world perspective. And then this is key to guide what we call the user-centric solution. That is the only way to have results where the so-called innovation action aligns very closely with the actual needs. And this leads again to higher impact on society. So concretely speaking, you have here in the slide that is being presented the next step for you what to do. To support the interaction among the stakeholders, make good use, I can only reiterate this, of the Serema platform of Seren 5. Again, here you have the link. Already, please go through the guidelines that are available on the participant portal on how to participate. And then again, all this is just an aperitif to the next event to which we would like to invite you, which is the Information Day 2024. Please write down already in your agenda. It will take place on the 12th and 13th of June. It will be in hybrid format, so you are welcome to come to Brussels. It will be hosted at the Thon Hotel, Brussels City Centre, but it will also be held online, so you will have the possibility to see the streamline. These events will go much more in details than what we did today. It will highlight more in detail all the topics. There will be the colleagues of the Commission doing so. And we will provide from the RIA side an extensive explanation of what are the most normally complex fields, financial aspects, including lump sums, how to deal with ethics requirement, what is a security appraisal, what a proposal structure should be. We will go through the different annexes. So you will have the possibility to see all together all pieces of information. Then, very important, on day 2 of the Info Day, Seren 5 will host a matchmaking event dedicated to the topic. So this will be extremely relevant for also for the composition of the consortium, or hopefully the consolidation of a consortium that will be already in place after this pre-information day. So the registration, if you have the question when the registration will open, I would say from mid-April 2024, but Seren 5 will tell you more about this. In the meantime, should you have any question, this is the last link you see on the slide. Do not hesitate to submit your question to the functional mailbox of the Research Inquiry Service. We will provide you with an answer that will also be made public. Voilà, it's lunchtime now. Before giving the floor to my colleague Martin Hubeler, let me express my thanks really to all of you participants, to the speakers, the panelists, for sharing their experience that again was extremely powerful, I would say, clear and inspiring. And from my side, a special thanks to Flavia Lacolla for the organization, and to my colleague Davide Brizzolara, PO of Seren 5. You put a lot of energy and time for this organization. Thank you for this. Back to you, Martin. Good weekend to all of you. Martin, we cannot hear you.
Sorry, now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. Thanks, Valeria. Not much more left for me to say. Also for me, this was very interesting feedback in the two panels. So overall, quite encouraging from the SMEs and from the stakeholders, I mean the practitioners. I think it's clear that participating in Horizon Europe, being part of a successful proposal, requires a certain effort. Is not a kind of low-hanging fruit, but the benefits, as we heard, they are great. From the Commission side, I want to just respond to the remark that was made about whether or not it's better to affiliate oneself with an established, with a kind of experienced entity, or whether or not to try to go it alone. I don't want to express myself on that. I don't want to come out on one or the other side of that question. I just want to reassure you that we in the Commission, with REA, with our evaluators, we very much value the participation of, let's say, first-time participants in the program. So this is also part of why we're having this event today, and let's say the benefits, the new ideas that new participants can bring to the program. If the proposal is written well, then this potential contribution will come through the proposal, and then it will be, I think it will be also picked, it will be appreciated and assessed in the evaluation. We want to lower the barriers further, so one of the possible changes in the future is that with the work program for 2025, we want to fund at least 2 projects per topic. So we will, and this is something we're currently discussing with our member states, we want to have overall less topics, be slightly more open, in order to leave some more kind of room for creativity on the side of the proposers, and also in order to be able to fund at least 2 projects, if not more, in one topic. But this is not now. Today we spoke about 24. What I've just said concerns 25. Yeah, with that, good luck with your proposals. I really hope that today encouraged you and convinced you that it's worth it. So good luck. And anyways, I also repeat my invitation to join the series community, And with that, thanks to our national contact points, thanks to CERN5, Flavia and colleagues, thanks to Valeria and the colleagues from REA, and also thanks to my colleagues here in the team who have also contributed to this event. With that, thanks again, and bon weekend. The event is now closed.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice weekend, and thank you for your participation.
Thank you and goodbye.